Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm Jacqueline Gibson and I'm a traditional astrologer using the whole sign house system. Today we're looking at the full moon in Aquarius occurring on August 9th. The sun will be at 16 degrees of Leo and the moon will be at 16 degrees of Aquarius. What this moon is indicating is a tipping point having to do with social progress versus our individuality. So that can be related to technological progress, or that can be more specifically about how our society is progressing politically, spiritually, just the road we're all on as a whole, and how we fit into that vision or that society that we're growing into. So, what's coming up for a lot of us is, do I fit into the society that I live in? Am I compromising myself to be a part of this society? Do I feel overwhelmed by some of the advances, either technologically or socially, that have occurred recently, especially since Pluto went into Aquarius? And up to this point this year, am I comfortable with what has been presented to me? Or am I feeling emotional upset around what has been presented to me regarding all of these areas? We don't have much in the way of co-occurring transits that help balance any of the changes or help us to see things more clearly, communicate with others, and find common ground. All of the planets that we might look to for some kind of support here are involved in tough oppositions or difficult squares with other difficult planets, most of which are in signs that they don't want to be in. So that's just like the overview. Remember, this is a full moon. So this is one piece of a much bigger picture. And what I like to do, especially on the toughest full moons, is focus on what the full moon is for, which is, what do I want to let go of so that I can grow in a direction that's honest for me. So what some of the other planets are doing right now that also complicates this would be, for instance, Mercury in retrograde opposite Pluto. So Mercury is still in Leo because of the retrograde, and Pluto is now retrograde in Aquarius, and they are opposing each other. Mercury is at 4 degrees, Pluto is at 2 degrees. This opposition intensifies any miscommunication or can lead to communication that is missing. And the fact that it is missing is what is complicating things or what is intensifying a situation. So, for example, if a piece of information might have changed the whole picture, but that piece of information is missing. And so now that situation escalates in some way. So, we can definitely expect misunderstandings at this time, and that our reaction, our emotional reaction to those may be intense, or that the other person's or other people involved may have intense and emotional reactions. So the guidance here is, as always, when things get tense, we want to stay calm. We want to get grounded. We want to avoid reacting. We want to respond. And sometimes, in order to respond rather than react, we have to remove ourselves from the situation, take a minute using something like, I'm going to get back to you on that, or I'm going to sit with that for a bit, and I will talk to you about it tomorrow. But give things time to cool off. That would be the recommendation for a transit this intense, also happening at the same time as a full moon. So we also still have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction that's in Aries. Both are now retrograde, and Mars has moved into a direct opposition with those two planets. Mars is sitting in Libra, and Mars doesn't like to be in Libra. I talked about this in one of my other videos, but this is a very passive aggressive, I'm having a difficult time making a decision about which way to go, what to do. And because of that, when I try to face any issue from a place of indecision, it's just coming out unclear and often passive aggressive. A lot of times passive aggressive behavior is coming from, I'm not really sure, but I want to let you know something's up, but I don't even really know what it is. So we're already going through that with just Mars being in Libra. But in addition to that, it's opposing Saturn and Neptune, which is confusing things, which is making things feel restrictive, like the confusion itself is confining. And that feeling of being confined and confused can lead us to escalate in any situation and, bring about more problems than necessary. So again, same suggestion. Pull back, sit with it. I'll get back to you. What you're saying sounds really important. I want to give it my full attention. Let's talk about this tomorrow. Be specific, tomorrow evening, a week from now, whatever it is, but be specific so that people don't feel abandoned, because this is a very emotionally chaotic time. We don't want to add to that. And we don't want to add to it because it complicates our lives. Like, just coming from a self-preservation place, let's not add any more, drama to the table. There's already enough there. So as we all know, Uranus right now is traveling through Gemini, and that transit will be going on for the next 8 years. But right now, Uranus will be trining Mars in Libra and sextile to Saturn and Neptune in Aries. So that means we may suddenly feel like escaping all of this. Like, let's just nuke this whole situation and run. So if you have any desires or impulses about, I'm just going to quit, or I'm just going to pack up my stuff and go, or I'm just going to destroy something that I've been working on, or damage something that I've been working on in order to run from it. If that's the case for you, if you're feeling that, again, the same suggestion applies for this part of this transit, which is take a minute, take a breath, schedule a different time with this person to talk about it. We can do that even with friends, neighbors, coworkers, whoever. You can say that what you're saying, that sounds really important. I need to sit with it for a bit, and I will get back to you when I can give you my full attention. But this is not the time. This is an explosive time. And this is also a time when we probably don't have all the information we need to be making decisions that look like something very final in our lives, or a final consequence in our lives because of our actions. So we just want to be clear. And also, to be clear, your final decision might be, yes, I need to leave this job, but how do I want to leave it? Yes, I want to leave this relationship, but how do I want to do that? We want to do that in a way that shows the appropriate amount of love and respect for ourselves and everyone else involved. So if this is a romantic partnership, there's no reason to be mean. I can just go. And even if that partnership is with somebody who is awful, if someone is awful, we don't want to attract their gunfire. Like, we don't want to be their target anymore. And if that's the case, we don't get there by making the biggest scene possible and throwing as many daggers as we can ourselves. That's not how we get out of the bullseye with a toxic person. So I'm never saying like you should really give this toxic person the most amount of respect. The most amount of respect that you can give to a toxic person is to walk away, because people need to know that their behavior is not okay. So enabling and co-signing, nonsense is not loving. And that's never what is recommended by, be cautious and, be loving to yourself and others. Sometimes it's loving to others to say, you are not behaving to the best of your ability and I'm out. And sometimes it's not safe for you to say that. And if that's the case, and I'm not saying that's going to be the case for everybody, obviously, but if that's the case for you, know that I am not telling you to be really nice to somebody who is walking all over you. It may be the time to leave that relationship, but make sure that you do it in a way that makes you safer as a result and better off as a result, and that you're not ripping off the bandage and taking, half your arm with it. That makes sense. So overall, all of these combinations just create an environment that can be tense, that can be volatile at times, and anger and frustration may be right on the surface. It feels like there's issues that are unresolved, but I can't really figure out what they are. And we may have a very strong urge to run from that, to have some kind of freedom from that. And that's okay. But again, considering the chaos and the chaotic environment that we're existing in for this period of time, it just might be best to, in most situations, to just avoid confrontation until you can get centered, until you can get all your facts straight, until you can be clear before you move forward.